Today I am introducing, we have guest lecturers, okay? And our guest lecturers today are Kaufman Aziz and Dennis Cherios. And they have been with me for about 4 semesters, right? And they're going to talk to you about interest groups today. Occasionally I may have a guest. Eric up there with his Scott Whaley may point out some things about interest groups. But they are going to take it away. So let's have a big hand. You guys hear in the back?
Okay. So today, Dennis and I talk about the interest group. I'll start with and then take the second part. So I will start with the outline of what I'm going to talk about today. First of all, the definition of the interest group and the types and the strategies and the third of interest group and what makes them powerful and the concerns about the interest system. And I will show you first a short video about the interest group that will provide us the general agreement on what is interest group and give the call interest group, general framework. This special interest group can be provided.
Maybe something did. And why did they have people all run around? So to get this out, let's explain which of these is an interest group. Dog owners, kindergartners, homeowners, or NBA players. The answer? They all could be interest groups. People who care about the same things come together with one interest. In order to advance their goals, interest groups continue to influence the government by leading or giving loans. For example, kindergartners want more recess. Homeowners want to close the deal. And NBA players, they just want to jam. There are a lot of ways that interest groups try to influence the government. Some hire lobbyists to make their case for them. Some take to the streets to hold rallies without permissions. Some groups let money do the talking and donate to politicians. And some take to the airwaves and social media to get noticed. But why are interest groups confidential? Interest groups work to promote the interests of their members and instead be working against the interests of others. The difference between interest group and special interest is a matter of perspective. For instance, who could be against it later? How about a retiree who doesn't have kids or grandkids? He just wants to pay more taxes for a playground he'll never use. We all want the government to be on us, but sometimes it's hard to accommodate the interests of every people.
So, what is the interest group? It's a group of citizens with their common interest and express public policy to express influence public policy to benefit themselves, right? So who can be an interest group? What did you say? Everyone. So if we assume that we are in the state of OU, and I'm always being to make this clear. So if we are living in a state of OU, and Dr. Rowland and we as a PA are policymakers, if we working on upgrading policy, then you guys as citizens will become an interest group. First of all, these influence are creating policy benefit yourself, right? But you want from our policies to have a higher grade, impact, right? So, group that seeks to influence the public policy on the basis of common interest, called interest group. So, what is the constitutional foundation of the interest group? Firstly, the First Amendment. The First Amendment provides us, here's an example, share your opinion about the public policy them. And this means that we can go together. You can join the other people who share the common interest with you and share your concerns and common interest groups to your, make your voice heard, right? So the second way is the right to petition. The right to petition also petition the government for help for the expert or provision something. So it's the right to ask the government for assistance with the problem of the express opposition to government policy as by the first and third one also the farmer's bill, which is from the federal stand, and it says the 5 sections argument. So these sections argument is eligible and why? You know what?
I think they are. Ask somebody else.
All right.
Oh, over here.
All right. The questions are in a so we all are moving, right? And if medicine says about this, in medicine that the infection, gentlemen believe that this was inevitable because of people have different opinions, different wealth and property. You can live and work together against the common good of out. Okay? In your mind, respond to other parts of it. And so factions are factions and interest of the same thing. Again, it medicine things like, factions are group of citizens, group of people, big or small, doesn't matter. And try to benefit from some policy, but this situation can be harm, can be against the other student interest or the community as a whole. So, but what about the interest group? The group of students who share common interests, but public policy themselves, right? Okay. So we are moving on to the type of interest. Before we move on, here's the type of interest group. Who is the member of any interest group? Are you a member? Yeah, who's the interest group?
It depends on how specific you want to go, but I have, I work at a coffee shop, very good, all same interest of the, young student. There's a lot of different things you could do.
How we're doing?
I'm a math major and, honestly,
That's all, yeah. And Dr. Robert is a member of the Protection Wales, right? Yeah. Very good.
Those there now are members of the Pacific Whale Foundation. Anybody know what Pacific Whale Foundation is?
Look at that.
Okay. One, they obviously want to do what? Promote whaling or,
stop whaling.
okay? And so why do we care about whales? First of all, why did I join the Pacific Whale Foundation? Any guesses? What?
Love marine life?
Like whales? I do like whales, right? I was watching whales on a boat and they said if I joined, they would give me a t-shirt. So I did, right? And so ever since then, I've been a member. How about you, Eric?
Well, I saw this cool lecture from Dr. Reynolds several years ago. I'm like, Pacific Rail Commission, it can't be real. And I looked at them, and they had this cool hat, limited edition. And so I donated $40, outrageous, to this group and got a free hat. It says stop waiting. I'm also a part of other industries, different story.
Me too. I'm a member of the American Association of University Women. Eric, how about you?
Well, I'm with the American Alliance for Museums.
Didn't you just go to Washington DC to lobby on behalf
Yes.
of those museums?
We love our museums. They make us smarter. Remember that.
So what do you think about not just really the Pacific Rail
Foundation.
Foundation? What was another one?
American Association of University Women. What types are they?
What is it? Little bit from this title. It seems like a professional group, right? American,
Association of University Women. Yes, it
You
is.
have an acronym.
At what?
What's your acronym?
AAUW?
And the other one is like, the single issue, right?
Yep. Public interest.
Yeah, kind of. So, okay, I'll give a short definition of all of this. The economic interest group, there are, economic interest group for advanced economic self-sustaining members, like the union. They care about the economic self-sustaining members. And the professional groups, like the American Bar Association for lawyers, or American Medical Association for doctors, right? They try to advance their rights of their working conditions and everything for their members. And the public interest group are typically formed to attend public issues that all affect all citizen stakeholders, such as the environmental protection. Right? And ideological groups, ideological interest groups form among students with the same beliefs about a specific issue. We discuss this ideological groups rather than economic interest because their main focus is not economic. They share some common beliefs, but the main point is not economic. That's why we call them ideology. And the single issue group, like the wealth interest group, single issue group form to present one way about the higher selling issue that is intended to inform its members. And there's also foreign policy and international group, right? So some interest groups are not just focused on the issues within their own country. Also, they are interested in the problems with their beyond their borders, right? So, for example, humanitarian aid interest group, they are trying to help people outside of the U.S. voluntarily, right? They may count as the foreign policy and international. So, what interest groups do? Actually, interest groups do serve important role in the political process. And I'm a PhD student in the political science department, and we do lots of stuff with political process, and interest groups is really important part of it. Because they inform the citizens, they inform the lawmakers, they inform the public about the proposed public policy, right? So they inform and they lobbying to change the public policy or keep the public policy maybe sometimes to benefit their members, right? And third one is persuasion campaigns. The campaign is one of the most popular strategy on the interest group do, right? And also the field in political campaign and the election. And whether I talk about the next slides. So, lobbying. So what's the lobby? What's the lobby? Alright. Lobbyist is someone who works for an interest group, right? And tries to pursue long-term government officials to support policies or legislation that benefit their group. Right? So what can lobbyists do? Lobbyists can meet with the legislature and lobbyists can,
I guess I'm Dan.
okay,
Since I've done lobbying and just recently came back from DC, I usually do it at the state level. But most of the tactics we do, the public can do as well. But we have coordination. That's the interesting thing I learned is we had coordination behind us. Whereas anybody like try to get a meeting with our senators, very difficult to do. But we had a group who could do it for us.
that's just because this is the one of the reasons that why the lobbyists are good, that I talk about. So, yeah, the lobbying and there's a type of lobbying. There are two types of lobbying. There's the direct lobbying and indirect lobbying. And direct lobbying is communicating with a member of the legislative body or other government official who has a say in the legislation. And this is made through the lobbyists, professional lobbyists. And the grassroots lobbying is national legislation of the public around the legislative issue. This is made by through the interest group, member of the interest group. And yeah, here we see there's a lobbying tactics. What are the tactics? They spend money and they use power. They write an email and a letter to the policymakers. They meet with someone, they use their network to influence the public policy. Yeah, here it says lobbyists. Do you think lobbyists are good or bad?
Terrible.
Yeah, I think there's a bias on the lobbyists. I thought I couldn't I found it in the video, but I couldn't hear because I don't have it. But there is a interview with the lobbyist, and the lady said people don't like us basically, because they thought they are doing a bad thing, and the previous letter students they agree with them. So what is saying? The lobbyists are good or bad?
I think they could be bad if, it gets to a point where the lobbyists take away the power from the individual person. So like to the point where the vote doesn't really matter. Like we vote for somebody to get them in office and then lobbyists kind of lobby them for certain issues. And so the reasons that they initially got in office don't matter anymore. Yeah, to a certain extent, because they're lobbying. Yeah.
Okay, I will take the good part and then I'll say about something about the bad part. Good part, lobbyists are good because inform legislators, right? They provide information about public policy. And they are good because they have multiple viewpoints and increase representation of individuals, right? They increase your representation. Right? And as I said, it's really hard to meet some policymakers as an individual, as a group. You can meet with them, and somebody can represent you. Yeah. For the bad part, there's a hyperpluralism, one track mind, and a mind over students. The plurality is more clear than me.
Yeah, I do want to say about increased representation, there are 200 million people in the United States, right? And there are two political parties. Whenever I was in college, I dated a guy that was a deadhead, and, he had one interest. He guesses?
Beer?
Legalize it. That was it. He wanted to legalize marijuana. It was one interest. He thought it was interesting, that I was ambitious and wanted other things and cared about things like voting, but he would never do that. But this increased representation meant that he had a group that actually met his one interest. It may be that you find you only have one interest or two interests, and so you get a little bit more increased representation out of it. But it is bad because of things like hyperpluralism. Now, hyperpluralism means that there are a lot of very specific things. So I was giving an example to Alfred, and we were talking about the fact that Alfred has excellent head of hair. Would you guys agree? Yeah, and he has a mustache and a beard, it's very cool, right? And so if he wanted representation for his hirsute head, he could join a interest group, the hirsute head group, right? Okay, but what if instead there were three different, people who believed in a full head of hair on the top of your head, and then the mustache group, and then the beard group, and they were close with one another. And so they didn't get what they wanted out of it because all of these individual interests, like the Pacific Whale Foundation that cares about the whales, what about the ocean in general? You see how hyperpluralism might be the right if everybody's concerned about very different, small, discrete things. One track mind is, I represent as a lobbyist this particular interest, the mustache interest. Okay? And so therefore, maybe I'm only interested in that, and so I'm and I can't prove anything except for the interest that only held those with mustaches. And then money, we're gonna talk about in just a second.
So this is my last slide, so then take the second part, we're gonna talk about the plan.
Thank you, Alfred.
Thank you, Alvarez, for taking us through the definition and also speaking about the strategies and what is good and what is bad about lobbies. So I just want to build on from what Dr. Rollins mentioned about, and I want to talk about theories that underpin the information of interest groups. Just like any other information, there are theories that try to explain or explain the phenomenon of this group. And for the sake of this class, we're going to just focus on the three. One has been talked about already, but I just want to talk about it briefly. So one rule is theory. For theory, we talked about that there are multiple and diverse interests among the people, and then these people actually compete for ideas. And the main thing about politics is that you want to have power and control. So these people actually are competing for this power and control. And each of them has preference for what they define as policies and their public interest. So they assume that actually, because of these diverse, multiple people, the public interest is prevail because people are competing for it. So policy theory basically say, oh, this is good because everyone has better ideas. If you have better ideas, then send it to the people, and the people actually will actually the interest of the people. On the contrary is what we call the elite. The elite theory actually focuses on that. In every society that there's a division between upper class or what we call, upper class line and the lower class. And in usual times that when they're making policies, actually the upper class that will always prevail. So no matter what you do, it's always the policies that the upper class or the elite actually we want it to pass. Then, just as Dr. Rollins has explained what type of role it is that when this role is here now or power, and it means that there are so many groups that are so strong and they're actually struggling the government because they can actually implement a policy because each of them are pulling from every side. They want every other policy to be implemented. For example, you just use the beard and the beard. Sometimes you use the tree, for example, There are people who actually want to distribute, and there are people who want to distribute. So they will be competing, and these involving people will bring them together and then kind of turn the government and the power. So in that sense, that the institutes are so strong that the government can actually not function well, and we'll be looking at it as human. So what makes this incredibly powerful? Because of a number of factors, but I just want to mention a few and then focus on these three. One is about the size. The sheer size of this group actually can make this group to be either strong or actually weak. So, for example, the US Temporal Commander, there were numbers across the country that are powerful because of the sheer numbers that they have. So they can be able to mobilize the money, they have the time, they got experienced people to do the work for them, and also they have the information. They collect a lot of information because they have a pool of people to do that. The second thing about the unity that they have as a group. If they are united in the form of a good one, they're always going to be able to have their political path. And we use the example of the application of the finance that during the time when they were making proposals for reform, especially social security reform, because of the unity and the sheer number that they have, they were able to actually press the government actually to enact this policy. Then the second one is about money. And money is a big factor when it's about money, but it influences a lot with your money. So money is a factor, and I'm gonna focus on it and raise concerns about it and have your opinion to hear what you guys think. And then also second one of the papers that I'm written about is concerns. So one, money and politics, they interact in various ways. Some of the ways that we know is that money can actually influence the way people vote. Because money, when they get into politics, people can actually contribute towards a cause because they believe that person will enact a certain policy. So people contribute money to certain candidates for election in contested races, or to political parties, or for example, even to particular interested groups or the members of that particular group including them for it. So they contribute money to influence the way policies will be made. So as we all know, that since 2010 that we are citizen united, and money has played a pretty big factor in the way politics is done in the United States. Because we don't have time to talk about it, take a good number of time, maybe so I just want this picture that summarizes. I just want to bring down for maybe for about 2-3 minutes just to listen about the part and people part. So just let's do this.
Continue to keep our eye on the intersection of money and politics.
Money donors.
I'm inquiring at how little money is being raised at a national level.
Running a political campaign isn't easy or cheap, and it's gotten more expensive over time. To be competitive, candidates and their campaigns must get their message in front of voters, and that can mean sending mailers, buying signs, and running print, television, and digital ads. And all those expenses add up. So, how do campaigns pay for all those things? Political contributions. Here's how that works. For candidates at the federal level, individuals can donate up to $2,700 per candidate per election. Individual donations can help fill the campaign's coffers no matter how small the donation. But spending on political causes doesn't stop the campaigns. Other groups can reach out to voters to help try and sway their votes. One kind of group, called political action committees, or PAC, can contribute up to $5,000 to candidates each year. PACs make contributions on behalf of others. PACs have been around for a long time, since the 1940s. Since Citizens United, new groups called super PACs have sprung up. Super PACs can be started by corporations, unions, and other groups. Unlike PACs, however, super PACs cannot contribute directly to a campaign. So, what makes them so super? Well, their spending on advocacy for candidates or issues isn't capped. Neither is how much money they can raise. The campaigns, PACs, and super PACs must disclose their donors to the Federal Election Commission. The FEC polices the system, and if you want to know who's donating to a candidate for a cause, you can check out FEC filings online. But not all contributors to political speech or causes are public. You've probably heard the phrase dark money recently. Dark money refers to political spending that comes from organizations that don't have to disclose their donors. Those groups are nonprofits that, similar to super PACs, can raise unlimited amounts of money. But dark money groups have come under a lot of scrutiny. Critics of dark money say that donors should be identified because voters deserve to know spotlight decisions. Supporters of the groups say the anonymous nature of the donors helps protect donors, individuals, corporations, or other groups, from retaliation by those who may disagree with their political views. During the 2016 elections, more than $6.5 billion was spent on presidential and congressional elections combined, and many Americans are concerned with the influx of money in politics. A Pew Research poll in May found that 77% of Americans support limits on political spending. Only 20% of Americans say groups should be able to spend unlimited amounts. Opponents of political spending say that more money equals more speech, which helps educate the public on issues and candidates. Advocates against unlimited money in politics say that money can compromise the integrity of candidates in elections and lead to preferential treatment for large donors over ordinary citizens. No matter which side of this argument you're on, you won't be insulated from the bombardment of political speech hitting the airwaves this election cycle.
I have a super PAC, full bear super PAC. Yeah. As far as I can tell, the difference between a PAC and a super PAC is a cover letter. Because I formed a PAC, but a PAC only takes so much money, it only spends so much money. I wanted to spend unlimited amounts of money and receive, more importantly, unlimited amounts of money.
The more money you have, the more points you have. I want to hear your opinion about, money in politics. Now it's 2%. So allow other people just to participate. So if you're in my class, of course, you know, where you have to participate, right? If you are anything. Someone wants to say something. There is money in politics. Now, what is it? Yeah. Over here.
I've grown up in a family that worked in politics and, a lot of the money in super PACs specifically, comes and goes without being always fully accounted. So I do not agree with the unlimited monetary transactions, especially them not being properly audited. In politics.
Thank you, Robert.
Right here. I really disagree with the money situation in politics because it gives corporations or big business with large amounts of money more say in the way politics are run, which gives like the wealthy, the 1%ers or whatever, gives them much more precedence over the average American.
Yeah.
I think corporations have a voice and they can spend whatever they want because they make whatever they want.
Yeah.
Anybody over here? You got something?
I don't think that corporations should have a larger voice.
I would just say this, if speech is money, if money is speech, then there has to be an actual name associated with that money in order for it to be protected, right?
All right, I think that's the policy, because this is something that, it's a friendly region. So if money actually can take over and have more voice and someone saying, I think that's a great. So, I just want to point out about some of the things about, I'm talking about the friendship. or what we call, if you may like, what are some of the concerns that we have? I think for the type of this part, we point out three things that, three different authors, the different books about actually about. One is about 85. One of the authors, Schneider, talked about this in a more profound, and he talked about it that in the system that we're talking about, or in terms of the interest group, there's always a concern that people will be biased towards the upper class. And actually, the famous quote that talked about in the pluralist, heaven, the fire thing is always with the upper class aspect. And it means that it's more suited towards business and corporation and professional at the expense of the people. Then you need to sort of have a kind of people actually being engaged and just taking over, like, because there are lobbies, there are people actually fighting for us. Then there's this free ride approach. People just don't want to engage because they know other people are going to do it. So it raises the issue of free rider problem for that. Then, one of the authors that we would like to talk about this as Gillian Page. This is a professor from Princeton and actually Western University. And they wrote this paper in 2015, testing the theories on American politics, and he raised the issue whether the elites, or what we call the interest groups of average citizens, actually have a voice when it comes to the formulation of politics. And they did this research and found out that average citizens actually have zero. Almost the chance of them having a say, as you can see on that graph, it's almost like 0.3 equals to be pointed or a pointer for 0 to 1. So it's about 0.3, but when you talk about the economic elite, you find like the graph goes up, as you can see, it's almost pointing up. If it was a perfect time, you would expect that there is a direct correlation, so there would be, 45 degree. Whatever things is happening, this one is also happening. Because you expect that the people have more say on what the government is doing. Every policy that is done, it is the citizens that have a say. But you can see that graph is almost flat. But the other one for the lead is going almost what would expect in a perfect that. So it means that tells us that the economic elites have more say on what policies are being formulated as opposed to the citizens. And as we still have seen after the phenomenon, the business interest groups actually spend more on lobbying as compared to campaign the nation. I don't know what Eric says about this because he's part of a lobbying group for the museum. The corporations.
Do we have corporations that like give money to us? Yeah, of course, museums. Like, so how it's structured is the museums give us money to run. There's the Oklahoma Museum Association as well. So like the Sam Noble Museum gives us money in a term of a membership. That's how we raise our money.
But it's not corporate.
They're their own 501c3.
Or so what I talk about the other concern. The other concern is that the product interest or the public interest is actually ignored, is always sacrificed. And one of the authors that is very profound is Jonathan Ross. Ross found this thing called democracy. Democracy actually talks about the effect that the government is not flexible approach to make policy. That every other time the government wants to make policy, there's either one group supporting or the other group actually don't want it to be implemented. So it's actually about that the fact that the some group of interest groups does the for the public interest. In essence, what we're talking about is that policy becomes so dense, say that it cannot be changed when people actually want to change because of the interest group. You can read the book, is an interesting on democracy. Then the last is what we call the Samaj state. Samaj state is the idea that citizens are actually not aware that governments actually are implementing this policy. Because there are two ways that we make policy. One, we can make policy through the normal legislation in Congress or any other form of legislation body. The other is easy to actually what we call tax code. So what happens in tax code is that we implement policies like tax holidays or whatever tax that we want to in terms of making sure that the citizens actually meet and make. It's easier way to do that because you don't have to, involve the citizens. It's so easy. Our politicians always like doing this. The challenge with this is that the citizens are not even aware that these things are happening. And Susan Butler raised the issue of Samaj state. Because about the Samaj state this idea that policies are being done, but the citizens want, they're not aware. So these policies are hidden, and when you ask people, they are not even aware. We have this thing like people, your government from my Medicare, for example, yet it's the same government actually who actually implement this policy. So if I'm asking this one, us are aware that, for you are benefited in any way from a social program. Very social program. Yeah, that's straight up our hand. Yeah, you can see almost 40%. Yeah, 40% of us are aware that actually government has something. There are so many ways, and not actually just about these tendencies that people actually they don't know that these things are happening. For example, these are research and cover these programs, the 529 of Coverdale, all mortgage interest. And the most interesting for me, for you, I know, will be the student loan. That almost 53% of the students actually are not aware that we benefit from this. But most people are actually not aware that this is happening. So if you read the title, the government by China, the semi-sovereign nation, you can copy in the library, or democracies, the silent kingdom of American government, and the third would be the submerged state by I'll encourage you to pick up those books and read. So it comes to a point where you have to also give your opinion, and I think this is what for this interest. The opinion for today is what is your concern? Are you more concerned that there's what we call the elite bias? Are you more concerned that there's a large influence of business interest? Or are you more concerned that there's inability to govern due to the large number of influences? And lastly, people don't know that they receive government benefits, or what we call the smart. Okay, so I think they all are open, and you can use password for that. Right. So that's talking about the revolving door, but the revolving door is this idea that the practice among the government officials who always want to go back to lobbying after they leave office. There's usually a cooling period of 2 to 6 months, 2 years before you go back. If you've been an official in government before, or if you've been in bureaucracy, then you need to supposed to take at least 6 months to 2 years to cool off before you go back. And I know there are instances that have been that have not been done. So where do we draw the line when it comes to lobbying and money and politics? First of all, is lobbying and bribery the same, or is that? I don't know what you think. I wish we had time to engage in that. But I just want to say, bribery, of course, is an act that is illegal, and it's meaning means that you give something so that it becomes quid pro quo. And it means you say something or you give something in order to, give someone something else. This is totally legal. But lobbying, or what Alvaro has said about, is an actual different officials to make policy for or against, and this is totally legal. And sometimes it involves financial trading, for example. So this is where we need to draw the line. In essence, that you find the corporation it's about buying access to government. So you can see the line that the normal people, the citizens, can't be able to access government because they don't have the ladder, or they don't have the means in terms of dollars to be able to access government. So that is where we need to draw the line. But in conclusion, I just want to say, that's what Alvaro went to the beginning. He talked about the mandatory federal spectrum market, and he warned us of the rise of action in government, but the founding fathers thought that this would be safer, or this would be controlled by having systems in place, putting checks and balances, so that we should have these competing functions, yes, but also the checks and balances to be systems to check each other. So that's what we need to do in place so that we ensure that there is democracy in this country. Indeed, that can actually be, can ensure the democratic process if it is biased towards the free state or the elite. But that does not mean that interest groups are not useful at all. Interest groups are useful for democracy, and we cannot simply dismiss it for corrupting it. So that's how we end today, and one of